Hey everyone, it's me, IR Smart, back at it again. I'm always here, Wednesday, it's just what I do. So anyway, no short video today, we're doing a full-length actual video today. We'll be back to doing shorts rest of the week. So anyway, today, I want to talk to you about a certain channel. You know, I'm not a big TV guy, but this is the thing I want to talk about. So basically, I'm a bit of a history buff. I don't know if you knew this, but I just like history. I think it's important, I think it's just a great subject, and you know, my vast top-notch brain full of all sorts of history knowledge. And you know, you also probably don't know, but I'm taking another AP class. I already mentioned I take AP Econ. I'm also taking AP US History, which is just a fun class. But then we're getting off the topic. The point is, I like history. And there's this show on cable television. You might not know it. You know, it's more of an American TV show, so you may not be familiar. But it's called the History Channel. I mean, it's just straight up the History Channel. So I'm going to tell you about it because, boy, is it interesting. I don't watch TV that often, but the history is just like, it's just always that one on the guide, and you're just like, huh, isn't that the darndest thing? Because they have the weirdest shows, I gotta say. Because, you know, you just have, like, normal stuff where they talk about, like, they have some really cool shows, like The Food That Built America. You know, it's just a show, and they talk about different kinds of food, like where the hot dog came from, where the McDonald's food chain came from. Great stuff like that. It's just generally interesting, and they have a bunch of facts. And it's just something to turn on when you want to pretend like you're learning something, but also just kind of relax and turn your brain off. So it's just that sort of thing. They also have cool stuff like World War II in color. It's literally just footage that they colorized from World War II. And you're like, oh wow, that's neat. That's World War II right there, but it's in color, and I can see it's cool. All right. Well, yeah, they have just a bunch of shows on History Channel like that are facts and stuff. But then they have a bunch of stuff where it's like, you know, I guess that's history, but that's not what they're talking about. Like, it kind of relates to it. So what am I talking about here? I'm going to tell you about a couple of shows on the History Channel that are just funny, I guess. They're just weird. So anyway, first up on the list, I'm going to talk to you about Pawn Stars. You've probably heard of this show. It's basically this show where there's this pawn shop. You know, if you've ever heard of a pawn shop, it's basically a place where you go and you pawn items, essentially. You're like, hey, I have this junk, is it worth anything? And the guy's like, yeah, this is worth a bit of money. And you're like, oh, cool, thanks. But this show, they have to, like, make everything over the top and exciting. So what they have is they have, like, you know, some guy who strolls into the store like, bum, 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 bum. And he's like, look at this. I have this cool thingy here. Look at this. Then they have a bunch of shots like, look at this. It's so cool. And he's like, this is from the Civil War. My great-great-grandfather passed this down from generation to generation, and it's in pristine condition. And I'm looking to sell it because, I don't know, I don't want it. It was just in my attic. Anyway, this is in pristine condition. So he takes it to the guys at the shop. He's like, look at this pristine condition thing from the Civil War. And the guys at the desk are like, oh, wow, that's insane. I can't believe you have one of these. I've never seen one of these before. I've always wanted to have one. And so then they have this expert come in, and then he's like, hi, my name's Jim. I'm an expert on things from the Civil War, and I can tell you that this genuine thing, this is from the Civil War. As you can see, it is indeed very good condition, very aspect. It's very wonderful. And then they have him like, they just have all the three guys, you know, the guy who brought it in, the expert, and then the guy behind the counter selling it, and or waiting to buy it, the guy who runs the pawn shop. And so they're just kind of standing there, and they're like, so let's talk about this. And so then they're like, all right. And you know, the guy brought it in is like, you know what? I think this is worth about, I would say $5,000. And the guy backing him up is like, yeah, I'm an expert here, and this is definitely worth around $5,000. However, I would have to take a bit of the price off because, you know, this little bing bong right here, this bing bong, it's missing. I don't know where it is, but other than that, it's in pristine condition. It's definitely worth $5,000. And then you have the guy behind the counter, and he's just like, no, you know, this is so cool. I've always wanted to have one of these things. However, you're missing the bing bong, and that means that I can only give it to you for $25. And the guy brought it in is like, well, darn, I guess that's all right. Can I bump it up to $35? And then the guy behind the counter is like, how about $27? And the guy's like, yeah, all right, sure, whatever. And then he leaves, and I'm like, you know what? Well, you know, it might have been passed down from my great-great-grandfather, but whatever. At least I made a bit of cash, so I'm happy. And that's literally the entire show. I just summed up literally every episode for you. But anyway, yeah, it's just another fun show. You just turn on, you're like, wow, look at that funny thing from history. Let's watch everyone. And then you have like the weird drama that goes on behind the counter of like the family. and I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. That's kind of just forced in there too. But then we're moving on to the next show. The next show is called Ancient Aliens. This is literally just the show where they talk about, like, aliens built the pyramids because we can't accept the idea that ancient people were able to build a giant tower of stones. So we're going to say it was aliens because that sounds cooler and it gets us views. And also they play the show only at, like, midnight. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, they can't play this during the daytime because it would make the History Channel look bad because they're just going off on all these alien conspiracy theories and stuff. It's really, it's just one of those things where it's like, you're just really bored at night and you're like, alright, I'll turn on Ancient Aliens, and you're like, watch 5 minutes of it, and you're like, nope, can't do this. Change the channel. So anyway, also you just have a couple other shows. They just have seasonal stuff they come up with every once in a while. American Pickers, I actually met one of the guys, the host of American Pickers one time. I gotta take a picture of him. I can't show you the picture because my face is in it, but I can confirm I did meet the guy one time when I was in Colorado. He's going to pick up something. But anyway, American Pickers is kind of like Pawn Stars. It's just these two guys. They go around America and, like, pick stuff up, I think. I don't remember what they do. I didn't actually know anything about the show when I met the guy, but I was just with some people that were like, look, it's the van for American Pickers. So I went and took a picture of the guy, and it was like, wow. So anyway, yeah, it's just they get antiques, I think. I don't really remember. I haven't watched this show in forever, but they get antiques or something. It's kind of neat. It's actually one of the better shows because it's not that notable. The only notable shows in History Channel are the bad ones. So anyway, let's keep going. Also, we have Swamp People. This is literally just a show about people in Florida who, like, fight alligators or something, and also, like, Georgia. Just the swamps. People who live in the swamps. That's the show is literally in the title. There's not much to expect here. It's literally just people who live in swamps. Next, second to last. These are my two favorite. We have The Curse of Oak Island. I'll get to my favorite one in a bit, but The Curse of Oak Island is just, it's so weird. There's these two guys, I don't even remember the names, I don't know what they do. They're basically like, there's this island, it's called Oak Island, right? Let's hear me out, dude. I think there's like a bunch of Spanish gold buried here. And then it's like, yeah. So they like do all this searching. They like make this intricate tunnel system, and they're like, oh, we gotta be careful, because if we dig too deep, we're gonna break the whole system, and then the trap's gonna trigger, and then we're not gonna be able to get the gold, and we're gonna have to start over. And this went on for like 5 seasons. I don't even know how many. It's been going on since 2014. So it's been going on for many seasons. And spoiler alert, there is no treasure on Oak Island. There's nothing there. They keep finding everything. They're like, oh, look at this wooden pipe we found buried. It's obviously from the Spanish when they buried all the gold here. And then you have the voiceover guy. I'm telling you, the voiceover guy is like, let me... A wooden pipe on Oak Island? What could this mean? And the guys are just like all sitting there in their tent like, alright, so we found this wooden pipe. What is it? And we're like, well, we can confirm it is wood. Yes, okay, but what does it mean? It's like, well, it could be a tree root. Nah, that's too obvious. It's got to be made from the Spanish. Anyway, it's just this whole show. They just dig up this entire island to try and find gold, and they don't find anything. So then they go to a different island, but it's still called The Curse of Oak Island. And I don't even know what the curse is. The curse is bad TV. Anyway, on to my final and favorite show of all, which is Forged in Fire. My goodness, this show is absolutely iconic. I gotta say, it's just the weirdest thing. So you got this show, right? And you got like, so the first couple episodes I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. You know, you have these guys come in. They're like the most manliest, beefiest dudes with beards you've ever seen. And there's these judges who are like also super beefy and totally buff. It's insane. And then they're like, alright, so you guys are bladesmiths. And there's like 4 of them. It's like a challenge to win, I don't know, $10,000 or something. That's like the prize. And it's basically like, so what you have to do is you have to take this scrap metal we've got sitting here. You're going to melt it down and make it into a sword. And I'm like, that's so cool. That's crazy. I didn't think we actually had blacksmiths anymore, but apparently we do. And then you get down to one guy gets eliminated because he makes an absolute crap sword. It like breaks in half when they make it, and they're like, alright, you're garbage. Then they get to the second round, but there's only 3 people left. And then they make like the actual handle, and they just get like random more scrap parts, like wood or like rubber or something, and they make a blade. And then they test it. They have some guy test it, like chop stuff up, like they just chop a whole cow in half, or like cut through a dummy, or like it's crazy. And they make all sorts of medieval weapons, and they like give you the history on the medieval weapons because it has to be the History Channel. And they have all sorts of fun quotes, and they just go into stuff. But then we get to the final round, where they're like, alright, you're gonna go home, and you're just gonna make this weapon from scratch in your home forge. Yes, apparently people have home forge. Like, you know, I expected like the first couple people they went and found the couple blacksmiths in America, but with how many seasons have been going on, it's insane. They've had so many contestants. Like seriously, it wouldn't surprise me if like my neighbors all just have home forges that I just don't see. Because like seriously, the amount of people that go on this show that just have a home forge. Like who just buys a shed, fills it with like molten ancient like medieval technology just so they can make swords? Like, one, that is so cool. Two, that is so weird. Seriously, who has these? Who just has a home forge? Like, but anyway, it's cool. And they come back and they're like, alright, this is the beautiful sword I made. And it's insane. Some of the stuff people make on this show. They make like these crazy medieval swords and like axes and like, it's insane. Like, I know, it's something that weird, but it's just, why is it so entertaining? I don't get it. It's literally just buff dudes making swords. And it's hilarious. It's so good. And then you have this one guy, you know, the one judge has like the curliest like white mustache beard thing, and it's insane. And you got this other judge that doesn't really say anything. And you have the host, he's kind of forgettable. But you have this guy, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I'll put his name up on the screen, but the guy who like tests the swords. He is the best guy, honestly. Super like tough dude. He knows everything there is to know about swords. And he's the one who actually tests the swords. You know, he gets up there and he starts hacking at stuff. And then, you know, if it like cut, and he'll test it, see if it like cut the rope. And if he does, he says, I can't even recreate it, but he says, it will cut.
It will cut.
I will have to put a clip here because I cannot do it justice. This man says that line perfectly. I don't know how he does it. And then if it's even really good, he says, it will kill.
Overall, your Bagnat will kill.
Yeah, that guy is iconic. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, yeah, Forged in Fire, it's literally the buffest, most manly possible show on History Channel. And it's absolutely insane. Like, I don't even... If you haven't seen it, I would recommend watching a couple clips. It is just madness, and it's so fun to watch. And as I already said, I'm not a big TV kind of guy, but it's just so weird. Just that this stuff, you know? People say TV is dead, but then we have stuff like this, you know? TV may be dying, but it's doing some... It's still kicking out on the way. You know, it's kicking and screaming out the door. And in the midst of it, we get Forged in Fire. So, hey. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is good on History Channel. I just want to talk about this because it's just so weird. Honestly, it's the weirdest thing. And if you haven't heard of Forged in Fire, it's so funny. It's just the weirdest thing. You know, I couldn't tell you why I find it entertaining. I just do, and it's entertaining. So, anyway, that's all I had for this video. It's a bit of a weird video. I just kind of had the thought, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to talk about History Channel in my video today, because that's what we do here on the IR Smart channel. We, by we, I mean me. I just decide I'm going to make a video, and I make a video. So anyway, yeah, that's it, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Maybe you learned something, but probably not. So anyway, bye.